behind closed doors. I'm a fool for your love.
Hello everyone, my name's Anthony, and boy, I guess I can't say I'm surprised, but you guys did not like where I put the Saints, and you did not like where I put the Colts. That one I was more surprised with, but rankings have changed. Top two and bottom two have stayed the same, but a lot have changed beside that. For the purpose of this video, last time I tried to talk about all 32 teams. I won't be talking about the teams I kept the same, except for the Saints. I'll talk about them. So we'll start out with the Cincinnati Bengals. They moved up 3. Now, I was close to moving the Packers up. However, I decided to give the Bengals the benefit here because they beat a tougher team. Yes, I like the Jaguars. I like Blake Bortles, but let's be honest. Which one's the tougher opponent, the Jets or the Jaguars? The Jets are, so I gave them the nod. But at the end of the day, we're talking about number 3 and number 4. The Packers move up 1 to number 4. I don't think that's bad. You guys probably will, but whatever. I think Packers are moving up. They'll probably be a top a good amount, although next week against the Vikings will be very interesting to see if they keep the top spot or not. Or number 4, but top 5, it'll be very interesting to see if they can still keep that. Then the Steelers, they moved up 3 to 5 after a strong showing against the defending NFC East champions, the Washington Redskins. I liked how they played. D'Angelo Williams, somehow, he's over the age of 32 and he's still doing a great job. So for me, I put him there. The Broncos, I wanted to put them in the top 5, I really did. They missed by 1 spot. They're number 6. They moved up 3 spots, though. I'm liking the Broncos. I said this before. I'll say it again. I have the Broncos winning the division. They played well against the defending NFC champions. They beat them again. They proved that the Super Bowl wasn't a fluke. Broncos are still a good team. Don't forget that. Cardinals stayed the same. Number 8, the Carolina Panthers, they moved down 5. I really tried not to move teams more than 5 spots. I think there's 3, maybe 4 instances where I moved them more than 5 spots, but I really tried not to move them 5 spots. The Panthers had a bad game, and frankly, let's look at the teams they moved behind. The Bengals, they won their game. The Packers, they won their game. The Steelers, the Broncos, they all won their game. The only team that didn't were the Cardinals, but they played the Patriots. And yes, the Panthers did play a tough Broncos team, and that's why they're still in the top 10. The Colts, you guys are probably like, oh, 9's too high. How are they ahead of the Lions? And I understand that, but let's put it this way. Who at the end of the season do you see going to the playoffs? The Lions or the Colts? Who at the end of the season do you see winning their division? The Colts or the Lions? I think the Colts are yes to both of those answers. No for the Lions to the division, maybe to the playoffs, and I think we're pushing it with a maybe. Colts should be a playoff team unless Andrew Luck goes down or they have a lot of injuries. That's the only way I don't see them as a playoff team. They played well, but they should have won that game. They didn't, but they fell down a lot. They fell down 5 spots, which I think is a big amount. Then the Raiders, they moved up 1. They did a good job against the Saints. Now they're top 10. We'll see how they do from here, but they're started out strong for once. Then I have the Buccaneers at 11. They moved up 3 spots. I was tempted to put them ahead of the Raiders. I didn't. Buccaneers did really well. They did well. I don't know why people are high on the Falcons. They're a bad team. Buccaneers are a better team. I don't know why people were picking the Falcons. Made no sense. Buccaneers showed who they were, and they're a good team. Then we have the Jets. They moved down 2 spots. Oh well. That's what happens when you lose a game. Still should be at least playoff contenders. Will they be a playoff team? I think so. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they aren't. Then I moved up the Chiefs 4. You guys were disappointed in the Chiefs too, that they were out of the top half. Well, now they're 13. They did a good job coming back. However, if they're going to play like that throughout the rest of the season, don't expect them to win every game. They're not going to win every game, but don't expect them to win a lot if they're going to play like that, where they're going to play from behind most of the game. Like, you can't do that. Then the Giants, they moved up 4. This is a different Giants team than last year. Last year's Giants team would have let the Cowboys win it. This year they didn't. Moved up 4. We'll see how they do from here. Texans fans, you're now in the top half of the league. You're number 15. I know Texan fans are always giving me a hard time. You did good against Chicago. I didn't predict you to win. However, I wasn't shocked that you won. I don't know what to think of the Texans. I could see them contending for the playoffs. I think Right now, I don't even know. I don't know. They could be the second best in their division right now. I know Texan fans will argue that they're the best, but they showed me what they are. That's why they moved up to number 15. And rounding out the top half of the league, the Lions, they moved up 4 slots. They're 16. They beat a good team in the Colts. Let's give them credit where credit's due. I didn't think they'd do it. They beat the Colts. They deserve to be in the top half of the league. Then we have the Ravens. They're number 17. They moved up 4 spots as well. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of how they played. It wasn't like they had a dominant win. It was just a close win against a team in the Bills who I'm not that high on and shouldn't do that well this year. So, I don't know. Ravens probably a middle of the road team. So this is about where they should be. Maybe a little lower, to be honest. Then the Cowboys. I did break that 5 rule with the Cowboys. They moved down 6. They choked away at the end. They should have won that game. They didn't. And unfortunately, I had to move them down 6 slots. Main reason I did is because the teams that went in front of them all won their games. That's why the Cowboys moved down. After the Cowboys, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars who moved down 4 slots to number 19. They played well against the Packers. They really did, but they should have won that game. I think if this was a year from now, the Jaguars would have won that game. It's not. They lost the game. They moved down 4 slots. Next, I have the Redskins who take the biggest fall or tie for the biggest fall. 7 spots they moved down. They got destroyed by the Steelers. I thought that would be a winnable game. I thought that the Redskins would be able to win that with all the suspensions going on in Pittsburgh. I thought this was a game they should have won. They didn't. I was pretty disappointed in the fact that they didn't. Really, they deserved to move down 7 slots. Then you have the Bears. Maybe I was just high on them to begin with, but I moved them down 5 slots. They should have been more competitive against the Texans. Yes, they weren't at home, but I didn't like how they played. They moved down 5 slots. Then you have the Vikings. They move up 6 slots. Yes, Viking fans, you're now 22, which I know you're probably like, oh, that's too low. And part of me says, yes, you're right, that is too low. But I need to see more from them. This Packer game is huge. Because honestly, if they win against the Packers, they'll be moving up to at least the top 10. At least. That'll be a minimum of a 12-point jump, which that's huge. I don't like doing that, but if they can beat the Packers, they deserve to be in the top 10. And if they don't, they need to put up a strong showing to show that this team can do well. I don't know if it's Sam Bradford or Sean Hill who will be the quarterback. I think it'll be Bradford. We'll find out, though. The defense played well. This can be good or bad, but it reminded me a lot of this past year's Broncos team in which the defense really carried that team. We'll see how they do the rest of the season. They're moving up, though. They're moving up in the world. You might think they're too low, but 6 slots is a lot to move in 1 week. Bills, Dolphins, Chargers, they all lost. They all stayed the same in their spots. Then you have the Eagles, they're 26, and you have the 49ers, they're 27. Both teams moved up 3 slots. You might be like, oh, why are they so low? Let's look at the opponents they beat. They beat the LA Rams and they beat the Browns. We're not talking about high caliber teams. I didn't think that the 49ers would lose. I thought the 49ers would win. I thought the Browns would pull out this one because I don't think they'll be winning much this year. They didn't. It's not like they beat high quality teams. They didn't. They beat bad teams, but they won, so they moved up. Then we have the Falcons. They moved down 1 spot. I was going to keep them there originally, but I moved them down a slot. They're not a good team. I'm telling you this now. They're not a good team. Don't expect much better. They lost to the Buccaneers, a team that last year was eh. Now they're better than them. The Falcons aren't good. Watch out, because they're bad. They're bad. Then you have the Los Angeles Rams. They tumbled 7 spots, just like the Redskins. But now they're 29. They were horrible. They couldn't put a point up on the board. They were, oh man, what a bad team. This is so bad. Honestly, you should consider throwing in Jared Goff. He's going to suck. He's at least going to get experience. What a bad organization. I don't know how they can continue to do this. Jeff Fisher, I just, it makes no sense to me. And he's going to have a few years because Jared Goff's a rookie. This team's terrible. Terrible. And then we have the Titans. They moved down 4 to 30. Could it be a little bit low? Maybe, but they choked away a 10-0 lead they had against the Vikings. And frankly, if Blair Walsh actually made the field goals, it wouldn't have been 10-0. It would have been 10-6. They just played terrible. Mariota did not look good. He was okay. I didn't think he was terrible, but he was a turnover machine in the second half. After throwing, I think 4 touchdowns in his rookie debut, this week 1, he did not do so well. I was disappointed. Browns stay at 31. Hurts that RG3 is gone. That's all I'll say about them. Then the Saints are 32. Here's the thing about the Saints. Good teams find ways to win games, and they're not a good team. I have them at 32 still. You might be like, why? They lost their game. Why should I move them up? Not only that, this game to me is a perfect example of what you expect to see from the Saints this year. They will be in shootouts like they were. Their defense is not going to save them. No way. You can argue what you want about the defense. This is still a bad defense. And expect to see a bad defense throughout the season. When these shootouts happen, Drew Brees can't save you every time. You'll have more games like this. Saints are not a good team. But those are my power rankings for week 2. I'd love to hear yours, so leave them in the comments below. I'll try to respond. A lot of you comment on these videos, so I will do the best I can. But, yeah, anyway, give me your thoughts and opinions below. I know most of you did not like it last week, so we'll see how it is this week. Some teams made jumps. I'll see what you guys think. If you're new to me and my videos, you can follow me on Twitter at AnthonyJamesTV, and you can subscribe to Anthony James TV for NFL videos. There'll be links in the description. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching another episode of The Anthony James Show. I'll see you next week with the Week 3 Power Ranking. Until next time, this is Anthony. I'm out.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for you.